I don't want to get rich quick. I want to build wealth slow. No burning bridges or anything like that. Because I know that when I'm 40, 50, 60, I want people to be like, yo, this guy's fucking doing his thing out here. And there's no one from when I was 25 that's like, that scumbag? I understand the challenge that young people are facing. You've grown up in this instant like, click, share, YouTube, Instagram world, and you see your buddy out there. He was a loser, but he got into crypto and he was a drug dealer. Now he's a crypto millionaire.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Millennials Choice Show. I'm your host, Matthew Ablican, and I'm here with my brother from the same mother.
What's going on, guys?
As far as we know, he is from the same mother.
We said you wouldn't tell anyone.
It's the year of chaos, and we're in the Valuetainment studio, so you never know what's in store for 2024. Guys, we came all the way down to Florida to meet with a very special guest in the house, financial expert. You've seen him on PBD, Patrick Bet-David's podcast, Valuetainment. He's a host of Valuetainment. Adam Sosnick, welcome to the show.
Thank you, bro. Obviously, the better looking one's doing all the talking, the smarter, the older. And then we got Danny here as cleanup hitter for the
basically.
Just kidding. Good to see you guys. Thank you for coming down from Toronto.
Thank you.
Real quick, we spoke this summer.
Yes.
June, July, August, whenever it was. You were trying to come down, trying to make it happen. We'd spoken on Minnect one time. And I said, look, bro, we're not going anywhere. You're in Toronto. Stay up there in the summer, right? Come down here when it's freezing out, having a good excuse.
Exactly.
Wife, kid, right? You got
our 8-month-old is with us. My wife, who's actually 6 months pregnant, is with us. And Danny brought his wife and his son as well.
My wife,
nice, dude. Now I just got to go find a wife and let's just have a big party. That's cool. But smart move coming down here when the weather is not so good in Toronto.
Dude, they're getting destroyed.
Shout out to all the guys that are watching Millennials Choice. Smart move on your end. These guys are studs.
And this year we have a big goal, big, hairy, audacious goal. We're getting to 100,000 subscribers. We want you to be a part of that. So smash that subscribe button, leave us a comment. Talk your shit if you have to. We're good. No censorship over here on our end, right?
Awesome.
And if you haven't dropped the sub, do it. What are you waiting for? If you haven't visited the Soscast, right?
Yeah.
You gotta visit the Soscast.
Check out Valuetainment.
You gotta check out Valuetainment. You guys are missing out.
VT Millennials Choice collab. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I got to get right into it.
Let's go.
You give expert advice and opinions, not only on finance, but on relationships. We're going to get into the finance stuff.
Sure.
But relationships. Are you seeing anybody? Are you a bachelor? What's going on?
I see a lot of people. That's for sure. No problem. Listen, Miami, I say this all the time. If you want to extend your adolescence or extend your bachelorhood, Miami, you could wait a decade or so more longer than other cities, right? Like if you're living in Des Moines, Iowa, or Norman, Oklahoma, or, a nice place in Toronto, have wife, kids by 30, 35. Miami, there's something about the sun, the humidity, the weather, the breaking of your necks everywhere you go. Maybe by 40 or so, you can kind of find that. So I was engaged when I was your age, the early 30s. Didn't work. I had what I call a mulligan marriage, real quick, got in, got out, didn't work out. So now that you've sort of made the initial mistake, no offense, Lauren, love you, wish you the best. Now we're looking for Mrs. Right now. But in the meantime, I put girls, I say this all the time on my show, because my show, it's called Soscast, where finance meets romance. We say it's the sexiest financial show in the world because it's me and a couple of well-to-do guys and a bunch of girls, 5-10 girls, and we're talking intersexual dynamics, dating, money, all that fun stuff. And it's great conversations, but you can extend it a little bit longer. But now I put girls into two buckets. You're the fun bucket or you're the wifey material. In Miami, there's a lot of fun bucketing going on.
I'm sure.
But we're looking for the wife. So I want to have a bunch of kids. I want to do all that. But I know that the clock is ticking and all that, but mostly on the women's end. Guys, we can have kids until
I was going to say, it's usually
Robert De Niro and Ralph Pacino just had a kid. They're 80-something years old. I don't want to wait that long for first kid whatsoever, but men and women are built a little bit different.
And didn't Al Pacino have a kid as well? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he had one
exactly.
recently, really recently.
In their 80s. Now, I don't recommend that. Maybe that's your last kid, not your first kid, but men and women are different in that capacity, and just as long as you acknowledge that, you're good.
Any
Yeah.
crazy stories that that you can share with us in terms of?
Oh, I got a lot of crazy stories. So be specific. I've been around the block a few times.
What's the most memorable one that you can share with us here?
Most memorable? What do you want me to go? Give me a better lead in.
Crazy shit that you've done.
Valuetainment, personally, what have you?
Women, finance. What do you?
I was thinking
Um,
more along the lines of the nightlife party time.
Nightlife
Miami, something
party
crazy
scene.
that's happened. I don't know.
So a lot of people know this, but so more than anything, I'm a financial expert. I'm a podcast host. I'm a networker. Some people are introverts. Some people are extroverts. I know that I'm an extrovert. Now on Sundays, I'll rest. I'm not talking to nobody, not answering my phone, what have you. But during the week, yo, what's up? And that type of vibe, let's say, in Miami can serve you very well. So you meet people. A lot of times, I'm a huge note taker. I know every door guy's name. I know every bartender's name. I know every, not because I remember their name, because half the time I'm meeting these people, especially in the nightlife scene, networking, you get a little a shot, drink, whatever. But I always write down notes. So I know people and I network and I value people's names. If you ever read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, someone's name is the most important thing to do, right? So you're Matt, you're Danny. If I was like, hey, Mike and David, you'd be like, fuck that guy, dude.
Yeah.
So I understand
sure.
names are super important. So I remember people's names that I network. So in the course of all the networking and nightlife and meeting people, you meet a lot of people. Now, one of the people that I actually met him when I used to play a little ball back in my day, was this guy, Chris Humphreys, right? You know the story with Humphreys at all?
Mhm.
NBA player, Minnesota. I used to play ball with him in Minnesota. That's where my mom is from. 19 years old, he makes it to the NBA. And he's 19. He can't really go out to the clubs, legally speaking, you know?
Yeah.
So I think we're past the point of getting someone in trouble for what they did 15 years ago. But I would take him out in Miami with me to the clubs. Of course he wasn't drinking. He was 19. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
But he'd go into the clubs.
He waited in the
And we
car.
meet a lot of people. I'd meet a lot of NBA guys.
Yeah.
And this guy is 6'9". He's a stud. He's the man. You know, look him up. Business savvy, basketball player. He's awesome. He calls me one day and he goes, hey, what's up? You know, I'm going to come down to Miami this weekend. I'm with my girl, Kim. We're going to go have we're to come down. I'm like, this guy's dating everyone. Everyone is supermodels, everyone. I said, who's Kim? He goes, hold on, I'll put her on the phone with you. She's like, hey, Adam, what's up? It's Kim. I was like, hey, Kim, what's going on? And she's like, so I hear all the people that are down in Miami, we're going to go to live at the Fountain Blue. We're going to have Dave Gretman and Purple. We're going to go out. And I'm like, yeah, I know all those people. They run the show. Of course I know these guys. What's up?
Yeah.
She's like, okay, we're going to have a table. We're going to be in the center. We're going to be in the middle. It's 10 years ago, keep in mind. I was like, all right, how do you know all these people? She's like, come on, I know all these people. And I'm hearing the voice. And I'm like, I know this voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Kim who? She's like, stop being so silly. You know it's me, Kim Kardashian. I was like, oh, that Kim, my bad.
Dude, that's crazy.
So I was like, oh, okay, Kim, see you this weekend. So I'm like, put Chris on the phone real quick. I said, bro, who the fuck are you hanging out with right now? He's like, oh, I'll tell you about it later. Ah, cool, bing. No, heads up. This is who I'm dating. This is what's going on. It's one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And I go, all right, so I guess Chris is coming to town, Kim Kardashian, all right? She brings her entourage down, every girl that starts with a K that was of age at the time, the Chloes and the Courtneys, not the Kendalls or the Kylies, those are a later date.
Yep.
Long story short, their whirlwind romance turns into an engagement within 6 months. She was turning 30. When I talked about a time clock and a time frame, she was turning 30. She got that that clock is ticking. And they end up getting engaged. Everyone asks myself, we know the story ends. They end up getting married. Okay. 72-day marriage. Yeah. I'm a groomsman in the wedding on E, walking Chloe down the aisle. I'm pinching myself. This is fucking reality. I took a year off of my life to literally be a Kardashian. We're going to Mexico. We're in Vegas, bachelor parties. We're in LA. I'm staying in Kim's house. I'm like, how did this even happen? Because it's networking. It's treating people with respect, never asking something from someone, just genuinely being a friend. And then when you do ask for something, you've built up so much goodwill that, of course, and that's another conversation. But yeah, the people that I've met, the things that I've done, but certainly one of the highlights of my life was being a Kardashian for years. If you Google Adam Sosnick, the Kardashian, there I am, the groomsmen photos with the whole Kardashian family. It's still kind of weird. It's still kind of weird, but I got tons of stories like that. That's sort of the top of the list. But
that's sick.
More than anything, it's being a good networker, understanding how to win friends and influence people, remembering people's names, treating people with respect. My mom would always tell me, I don't care what you do it with your best ability, right? My mom would get mad at me. She's like, why do you make me sound like Edith Costanza? I'm like, you sound like her. So, but whether you're dealing with the janitor or the CEO, just treat people with respect.
Yeah.
And never disrespect someone unless they disrespect you. Then, you can do the Trump thing. They punch
Fair
you, you go
play.
10 times harder. But you ask for a crazy story. There you go.
You delivered, man.
Thank you, bro.
So what I love about to close off the networking side of things, for me, whenever I network with someone, I always keep in mind that it's not always necessarily that person, even though it's great to know that person, but you don't know the door that they're going to walk you through.
Yeah.
And there's been moments in our lives where it's like, you look back and you're like, God must have been behind this, because like you couldn't even plan this out this way. And you look at the chain event reactions that happen, and it's like, whoa, I met this guy, but then I got to that point.
Of course.
And I think Patrick said this once. He's like, I in his book actually, and he said, I met this one guy who then I met this guy, and then that led to a client that made me $30 million.
Of course,
and I was
yeah.
like, wow, big. It's so important. Get yourself out there.
Yeah, well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you the story how I met Patrick and
Yes,
how I ended
please.
up here. So it's a great segue. So, I've worked I kind of have 3 phases of my life. My early 20s and before that, just candidly, a Miami fuckboy. I was in the hospitality scene, nightlife, partying. I went to college, but I was majoring in, let's just say, women's studies. And I was running a club in Miami. I was working in a hotel that one of my best friends owned, luckily enough. So, I was the assistant manager. I was doing stand-up comedy. I was doing all this. And I said, I'm doing all these things, where they, jack of all trades, master of none, doing all these things. I'm meeting all these people. I'm going out all the time, but I'm broke. So I said, I got to find a specialty. And I knew that, I have a Jewish aunt, very smart woman, made her money in real estate. And she said, look, if you're not going to be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, nope. You got to get good at sales. And sales, you can either be super technical and you know all the ins and outs of whatever product it is, or you could just be good with people. I said, I can't even plug in a computer, so let me be good with people. So I understood that being good with people and QBS, question-based selling is not telling, selling is asking. So I would, hey man, where you from? What's your deal? What you doing out here? So that got me this job. I ended up becoming getting a job at a startup financial firm, hedge fund basically, as a cold caller. My first year I made $5,000, nothing. I'm like sleeping on friends' couches, literally on Chris's couch. I'm sleeping, just bumming it up. So for all the 25, 26-year-olds who are like, life's so tough, I got no money. You got the best thing on your side. What's that? Youth and hunger. I'm 25, I'm broke, I got no money, but I'm hungry. Yeah. And I said, I got to move out of Miami. I'm going to move to Boca, which is about half hour north of here in Fort Lauderdale. And I get a job and I start immersing myself in this business. And it takes me a year to really fully understand that any sales job, it's planting seeds, watching them grow, and then harvesting the crops. So I get a job. They say, we like what you're doing. I'm in my, mid to late 20s at this point, 27, 28. I start making money. I make about $100,000 for my first time in my life. And now it's been every year since that, north of that. But what's my point? I go to all these networking meetings, these conferences. They're like, you're good with people. We're sending you to all the conferences. Which conference am I going to? All the conferences. So at this one conference in 2012, I'm just working out in the gym. Just me, doing my thing. There's one other guy in the gym. I don't know who he is. He's a young guy. I'm a young guy at the time. Most of the people at these conferences I call MPS, male, pale, and stale. Older white guys, they're just there for the conference. Yeah. There's a few young cats and you know, what's up, player? That kind of a vibe. And this young dude working out in the gym with me turned out to be, his name was Pat. What's up, Pat? I'm Adam. Hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. Turned out to be Patrick Bet-David. We meet in the gym. We hit it off. He's very like, all right, do this workout. This is for your lats. I'm like, what the hell's a lat? Like, so we're in the gym doing our thing. He goes, hey, later tonight, we didn't even talk business. I'm like, you here for this conference? Yeah, whatever. Later tonight, come to our little cigar lounge party that we're doing. Ironically enough, we're in a cigar lounge.
Yeah. So cool, by the way.
Right?
Yeah.
So cool. And we just develop a relationship. We do no business whatsoever. And every year, I would see this guy at the same conference. I would drop him an email a couple times a year. hey man, just reaching out. Great to see you. You're going to be at this one conference. That's a great thing about conferences, especially whether you're in real estate, whether you're in finance, whether you're in tech conferences. We're so accustomed to Zoom meetings and Zoom meetups. Ain't nothing better than, what's up, Danny? How you
for
doing?
real,
That
man.
kind of a
It's
thing.
a different vibe.
It's a different vibe, right? Like we did a Minnect call, but it's a different vibe. What's up, Matt? How you doing?
Yeah.
So every year I would see Pat. What's my point of telling the story? We meet in 2012. We do no business other than, connections, whatever. Like we're in the same industry. I make no money from him. He makes no money from me, but we're in the same vibe. I see what he's doing. I see he's growing. I start talking to him about content. Fast forward, I don't get hired officially to Valuetainment until 2020. So 8 years after I meet this guy, we have a full-on business relationship. Most people are in that, especially when you're young and you're hungry, you're in that get-rich-quick mentality.
Yeah.
Here's this guy making big things. What can I do to make 10 grand from this guy? What have you? If I had that mindset, maybe I would have made a quick 10 grand, what have you, from PBD. But now I wait 8 years, co-hosting PBD podcast, have my own show. We're building out Minnect. We're building out all these things. Millions are on the back end that you don't even know about because you're so focused on the short term, making a quick buck. So the networking and playing the long game, I think, is incumbent for everybody to understand that whether you're 25, you're going to be 30. If you're 30, you're going to be 40. If you're 40, you're going to be 50. One of the things I always say is, they say that life is long, bro. Life is long. Nah, or life is short. Sorry about that. Life is short. Life is short. No, life is long. We can live to age 100. That's a long freaking time. Now, at the same time, life is precious. Could be taken away from you like that. But more than likely, I'm in the insurance business. I understand risk. For the most part, everyone out there, we're going to be living to 80, 90, 100. Don't do anything stupid at 25 that'll jeopardize your reputation when you're 35, when you're 40. It's always going to bite you in the ass. Play the long game. Develop the skill set now so you can just ride the long game for the rest of your life. But yeah, that's how I met PBD.
It's like this
That's
YouTube
sick.
channel, right? So we're in Canada. We started off virtually. We got a couple big names. Francis was the first one, really opened the door
love
for
Michael.
huge. And he was gracious enough to help us when we didn't even have 100 subscribers.
Wow.
But I'm knocking on the doors. I'm getting rejected. For every 10 guys I talk to, 9.5 of them are saying, not even saying
It's a
anything.
numbers game.
Right? So, but you have to have that long game. And unfortunately, with my generation, microwave results, immediate gratification, instant gratification. And then Gen Zs are looking at us and just, we're not good role models for the most part. But at the end of the day, when did Rome, how long did it take to build Rome?
Yeah, what do they say? Rome wasn't built in a day,
In
right?
a day, right?
Well, that's what I want to ask you though. Why do you think this generation wants fast results or microwave results? Do you think crypto has anything to do with it? Get rich quick?
Yeah, I think
Things
it's
like
a
that.
combination of all that stuff. Look, I'm going to sound super old right now, but I'm 42, right? I remember I got a hand-me-down TV from my parents, whatever. It's like, because they got a new TV.
Yeah.
It was a freaking black and white TV. This is in the 90s, dog. Okay, now you might be saying 90s black and white TV. It might have been the last black and white TV. I remember phones where you had to do this thing. Home phones or office
Home
phones.
phones, yeah.
This thing. I remember when fax machines were a thing.
Yep.
This wasn't that long ago. The internet, which really didn't become a thing until like the 2000s. Remember the dot-com bubble, early 2000s, what have you. Things went kaput. All of a sudden, Microsoft shows up. Google shows up. Facebook shows up. Instagram shows up in 2012. Social media is a thing. Barack Obama's the first president to utilize social media in 2008. It's so new is my point. We're a decade, maybe 2 decades into this thing. So if you're young and you're used to, I want that Amazon, boom, DoorDash, boom, Instacart, boom,
It's very easy.
Uber, boom. Oh, I want a girl tonight, boom, Hinge, boom,
True, yeah.
boom, Tinder, boom. We're used to just press a button and it's there. But that's not how success happens, bro. Success is grind, 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 plant seeds, plant seeds. You know, they say it's like watching paint dry or watching a tree grow. That will infuriate you. But you know, if you plant the tree, in 10 years, it's going to be a palm tree.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to wait for the palm tree. You want to plant the seed and do that. So crypto, great example, Danny. Yeah, you buy Bumblefuck coin. It goes from 0 to $100 because people are now investing in Bumblefucks.
Yeah.
And then it goes up. Oh, I'm so smart. No, you got lucky by doing this, it crashes, whether it's Dogecoin or whatever altcoin or shitcoin or even Bitcoin. And I hold Bitcoin. I have a crypto, but I'm a hodler, as they say, because I understand that it's not timing the market, it's time in the market.
Exactly.
So yeah, I get it, dude. I get it, especially for the young people out there, the Gen Zs, even the millennials. I get why you want success today. I get why you want notoriety today, but that's not how it works.
Mhm.
So two of my favorite words in the English language are work and earn. You put in the work and you earn the results.
Mhm.
You didn't earn anything from putting $1,000 on Bumblefuck coin and turning it into 10 grand. You're not an investing genius. And is that 10 grand really going to change your life? So whether it's the microwave culture, get rich quick, type of thing, I always say, I don't want to get rich quick. I want to build wealth slow. And I want to make sure that there's a solid financial foundation, a solid relationship foundation, no burning bridges or anything like that. Because I know that when I'm 40, 50, 60, I want people to be like, yo, this guy's fucking doing his thing out here.
Yeah.
And there's no one from when I was 25 that's like, that scumbag, he stole 50 grand from zero. None of that.
Exactly.
Because in the internet age, nothing is like internet lives forever. So that's like, to use a weird example, the OnlyFans girls or the porn star girls or the get rich quick girls who are using their money and their titties to make some money today. Cool. You're doing that when you're 25. Where are you going to be at 40? Who's actually going to wife that girl up? If your kids see you doing porn, where does that lead you?
Mm-hmm.
So it works for guys in the business world. It works for girls in the body count world.
Yeah.
But the get rich quick thing is going to have an unhappy ending. They say that like get rich quick comes with slow problems. That's exactly what's going to happen in the long run for a lot of these people who try to get rich quick.
For sure. And on that point, like what kind of value are you bringing, right? Especially like the OnlyFans girls, yeah, you're young now, you're doing what you're doing, but at the same time, what are you going to be doing when you're 40, 50, 60? What value are you going to bring to the marketplace to earn, right? So,
and I just want to build on that point.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the crypto thing, which was great. The smoking mirrors that comes with the internet.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get kind of sucked into that life of they see a guy or a woman who doesn't have two nickels to rub together.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, there's a Lamborghini in the back and maybe they're on a jet somehow or just a set or whatever, and they're claiming to be successful. And I think when people see that, they're triggered and saying, that's what I want. But to me, that's not what success is. Of course, I'd love a Lamborghini. I'd love to be on a jet. 100%. I'm going to work towards that because that's what I want. But for me, I always envisioned having kids. I always envisioned having my own brand, doing it the way I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Envision being in the room with high caliber people better than me, so I could learn, be in those rooms. To me, that's a success. But it's different for everyone. And I think social media has done us a disservice because those are the posts that get the most likes.
Yeah.
And it's all about likes now. It's all about being famous. And there's how many guys do you know, you and Patrick, you and Vince, you and Thomas, know that are super wealthy guys that don't have social media?
Mm-hmm.
Tons.
Oh, yeah.
There's guys that are
Big time.
older than us. They're in their 60s and 70s, working harder than us, and they don't need to.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's being successful to them. It keeps them going. It gives them that energy, that vitality that they're building, they're creating. And so I just wanted to add on that point that I think a lot of the younger crowd has seen posts and content like that and said, that's what I want. And then they get looped into that, which sometimes the successful person might be the guy you never see, is grinding, taking L's, and questioning himself 10 times a day, 20 times a day. Why am I doing this? But that person is a success.
Well, I'll give you a funny story with that. And you're absolutely right. You're spot on. Because it's great to say like anecdotal, but specific stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of my good friends, Keith, I won't say his last name, but Keith, if you see this guy's worth tens and tens of millions of dollars, okay? We started his nightlife hospitality company when we were 25 years old. I was the manager and getting paid and free drinks and good times and hot chicks while he's just stacking cash, right? So this guy, dude, I just flew on his private jet to Aspen. I stayed in his $20 million house. He's living the life, married, kids, what have you. He's got maybe 5,000 on Instagram. Now, 5,000 might be a lot to some people. Sure. This guy started Instagram in 2012. It's been like, he's a known guy. He's constantly saying, dude, should I post this picture of me on the jet? I go, yeah, of course, it's your jet. It's not a fake jet. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. What's the wrong idea? That you're actually rich? That you're like, should I post this picture of me in Monaco or me? Yeah, do it. So he's grappling with like, I'm actually successful in real life. I don't know if I want to put that on the Instagram, then people are going to feel some type of way. Yeah. So I give you that case example is like, there's guys you've never even heard of that are worth stupid amount of money and they just keep it low key. There's other guys that have 100,000 followers, 1 million followers who are 23 years old. What do you think you've done by age 23 to merit that kind of success? Maybe you've gamified and hacked the algorithm and you know all the social media, that stuff, but you don't have the resume to be like, yeah, I built this company, I've done all this. You've just sort of hacked the system. And there's nothing wrong with that, but be very leery of like whose podcast you're watching. I get a lot of guys who say, yeah, I want to start a podcast and I want to talk about success and I want to do this and I want to say, I said, what have you done? Well, nothing. That's why I want to build this podcast. I go, no, aside from the podcast, what have you done?
Right.
No, I'm just kind of getting started. I'm like, then you're not an expert in anything.
What are you
You just want to be,
Yeah.
like, how are you, like, when you're like, tell me a good story, I'm like, I got a million good
Which
stories.
one?
I'll tell
Yeah.
which one, bro.
But how
So-
valuable is that though?
Yeah, of course.
That if God forbid, far be it from us here, if our businesses today were closed,
Mm-hmm.
we could go anywhere and we're the same person. And that value comes with us.
Yeah, of course.
Versus the artist who robbed me $1,000 but has 11K follower and people know who he is like in the city. That guy's going to be a bum for the rest of his
Yeah.
life unless he changes his ways. You know, there's repentance, there's forgiveness, fine. But you have to become valuable. That's why I love Valuetainment. The name Valuetainment. I get it. You're bringing value to people, but you guys are valuable first. And that's how you're able to bring value.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Precisely.
I got an email, you might have gotten it from our organization for real estate saying, want to be a top producer? Come to this event. I'm like, cool. I like these events. We go to all of them. So I opened it up and I see the panel. I'm like, bro, I deleted that email right away. Said they don't sell real estate. They're content guys, but they hacked the algorithm. They did their thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, for us, we're a little more old school. We built the real estate business 11 years in the making. I said, now it's time to educate people in a wider way. Let's create a podcast. That's why we did that. But these guys never built the real estate, so they can't tell you the ups and downs with sales and what's going on in our market. But they're great at producing content, and I respect that. But why don't you just call it for what it is? Like, you're not a top producer in real estate.
You're hitting on something that is super, super, super important. If I could just take a second on this, you said valuetainment. The attainment comes because we're bringing value, right? For your podcast, the reason you have credibility is not because you're talking about real estate. Don't talk about it, be about it. You've been in real estate for a decade. You're not like, hey, I want to start a podcast, and as the podcast is blowing up, let's try to buy a property. Dude, if you're doing that, respect, I get you. But it's just so much more real when you've done the 10 years of work and earned this reputation to say, you know what, I've been there, I've done that. Now, hear me out, guys. This is why you should listen to me. Look at this resume right here. Rather than, yo, social media, what up? I got 10K followers, 100K, cool. By the way, how are we going to fucking make money outside of this thing? You know, like, there's the problem right there. Yeah. But I understand the challenge that young people are facing. I get it. You've grown up in this instant like, click, share, YouTube, Instagram world, and you see your buddy out there who he was a loser, but he got into crypto and he was a drug dealer. Now he's a crypto millionaire, or he was just a nerd in his house and now he's on Twitch playing video games, making all this money. I get it. Yeah. But the best thing you could do is say, I get it. Remove all the noise. What's my expertise? What's the value that I'm bringing to the marketplace? What's my specialty? 2 years, 5 years, 10 years are bringing value to the marketplace. Then you've got stories. You've got scars. You've got wounds of like, dude, I've been there. I've done that. I fucked up here. I made money here. I have the resume to tell you, hey, here's what you got. Here's what you got to know. And that's what you guys are doing right now. So you've been in real estate 10 years and now you're getting this podcast off the ground. I think that's a way better sequencing for success rather than starting a podcast and then, all right, let's figure out the real estate. So kudos to you guys.
And when we're traveling, we were in New York a couple months ago. We met with a few guys that you'll know will share some stories as well. But we were away from our families. We're new dads. And this time we said we're going to bring the family with us, spend a few more days here. And we're looking at each other. I'm like, bro, this is hard. It's not just showing. This is the easy part now.
Yeah.
We got to this part. And
this is the fun
it's
part.
great, you know?
Yeah.
But it's hard setting it up, planning, schedules, traveling, flight, hotel, where is it? And I'm one that, but I don't care. There's no such thing as a stupid question. My experience in school and university is through like teachers college and stuff. So I never believed in a dumb question. Nicole and I was asking them 21 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, where are you? What hotels nearby? Like I'm trying to get advice from people that know more.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. That I try to be a sponge.
But I think that's the problem with the young generation these days, because we have so much access to the internet. Everyone thinks they know everything, right? So people, this generation, they don't really want to ask questions. And I think that's part of the problem, right? They're scared to answer questions. What do they tell us in school? I don't know if it was the same about you. Oh, if you make a mistake, you're going to get a lower grade, So it's one of those situations where, I kind of don't blame them in a way, because they're set up for failure.
It's their
to
environment.
live. In this culture
But they need
today.
guys like us though.
But that's what it is.
Guys like us that are going to say, you know what? F that. We're going to fight the good fight. We're going to be good role models. Regardless if we take heat for it or whatever, we're going to do that. And for those watching that want to start a channel, you know what it takes. Patrick knows what it takes. And then you know what it takes together with him. There's clashing egos, things. We watch, man, we absorb your stuff. But all I want to say is be careful who's speaking in your ear. That is super important. Your mentors, they could make or break you. We've met for the first time here, but I consider a guy like you, a guy like Patrick, a mentor, a virtual mentor.
Thank
you know what I mean? So a guy like Grant Cardone takes a lot of heat. The guy's got 10,000 units. You could learn something from him.
Well, the Grant Cardone, we just actually had Gary Cardone. He has a twin brother. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He walks in the room. I said, "What the fuck is that?" He goes, "I'm Gary." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And, who? What?
He's used to it.
But I always, I like
funny.
talking about Grant for the following reason. Dude, Grant is 65 years old. Dude.
Stud.
He's killing it though.
That guy's crushing it.
He's no spring chicken. Why do I bring that up? His first 40 of his years of his life was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
He's talked about the substance abuse and used cars and whatever he was doing and all that, and making money, spending on all that. But he found success on the back nine. So respect to Grant Cardone. What he's built, great. Whether it's 10X, the apartments, his Cardone
Cardone
business
Ventures,
model, all
yeah.
that, great. But he didn't do it when he was 21, bro.
Wasn't
He
overnight.
did it when he was like 51.
Yep.
So we talk about Grant Cardone, we only see the end, like the whole iceberg effect.
Yes.
Where you only see the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But down below it, below the surface is late nights, hard works, rejection, resilience, fights, dealing with your wife. Like nobody sees that. They just see, $1 million on Instagram, bro.
Yeah.
What's the work that came before that? That's the most important thing.
Decades of hours just put in endlessly. And that's, I guess, what kids are missing these days. It's just getting into something, getting good at it, and just making mistakes.
Yeah.
Screw up. Honestly, I like how Gary Vee puts it, go and make mistakes. That's the best way to learn. Right?
The mistake thing is great. I always learn the most after I fail. The key with mistakes is just don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
You fucked up here, bro. We know. Learn from it, improve. But why'd you do it again? What? That's, the whole George W. Bush, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, can't get shamed again. But that is real. Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Mistakes are great. Just don't continually make the same mistakes. Just, I have one buddy who was like, "Oh, bro, I can't get ahead financially. Can I borrow a loan? Can I do this?" I said, a year ago, you asked me for the loan. What have you done different this year? You've done the exact same thing.
It's
so
insanity.
he didn't learn from any of his mistakes. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Mistakes are great, but one time.
Yeah, learn from them. Shifting gears really quick, I want to ask you a more spiritual question.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could talk about
Go
anything.
ahead.
So you believe in God?
I've grappled with this. I was raised Jewish. I used to go to temple as a kid. And more because my parents told me to go, right? I had a bar mitzvah, not all that. I went to Hebrew school. But you grew up in Miami, I'm friends with all the Cuban guys. I'm friends with all, the Latinos, the Haitians. I've got all friends of all different race, religions, creeds, beliefs, all that. So I'm more the type of person that's like, cool, I got you. Cool, let's all get along here. And then I went to Israel for my first time on a trip called Birthright, which
Yes,
like if you're Jewish, they give you just a free trip to Israel because they want you to see the land of milk and honey. So I went there and I was expecting this like godly moment to come down, like, Adam, you've made it to the Holy Land. You're at the Wailing Wall, pray. Like, I'm expecting this.
Yeah.
High expectations, never a good thing. So I get there and I'm let down by the spiritual awakening that I thought was going to happen to me. But while I was there, something else happened. I fell in love with the land. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the culture. It was great. So I realized, listen, I don't know where I'm at with the man above, but I know where I'm at with the people on the ground. Also, all types of people. But then I started reading books, Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, these types of guys, disproving God, why God is not great, these types of books. So then I'm saying, maybe I'm agnostic. I don't know, right? Maybe that's where I'm at. But I know that my tradition, I know my culture. How do you grapple with that? Whether you're Jewish, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, the one unifying theme is monotheism. That there's a man upstairs, or there's something upstairs. I know Ariana Grande came out with the song "God is a Woman." We'll see. But now, as I'm seeing the world today, and I'm seeing this shift away from religion, people are becoming less religious. People are becoming less family oriented. People are less community oriented. I'm seeing this happen in real time. And I'm saying, what's the alternative? Wokeism, belief in your party. Okay, that is so basic. To put it bluntly, you're believing in not a higher calling. You're believing in the LGBTQ gods, right? The woke gods, the ideological gods or whatever. That's not here. That's here. So where I'm at now is, I think, I know that there's something bigger than us. Is it God? Is it Jesus? Is it Allah? Is it Hashem? Is it Buddha? I don't know. And only one religion could be right.
For sure.
But I think it's all fair to say is that there's something bigger than humans out there, whether it's faith, whether it's the universe, that there's something out there. And call it karma, whatever you want. But being the best person you can be, being a man of good morals, good principles, good fiber, having that and understanding is bigger than me, bro. Whether it's the people around me, whether, as Pat's always says, the man upstairs that's looking over for me, he said, I'm one of God's favorites, right? I think that mentality is so much better than being like, yeah, I'm praying to the idol of AOC or Justin Trudeau or communism or whatever the hell you're into these days.
Yeah.
So for me, faith, it's still open-ended, but I'm trending in the right direction.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Jesus was Jewish, by the way.
He was a Jew. There's a whole debate out there, Israel, Gaza, we don't need to go all there, but let's just state that we know for a fact, Abraham, the first believer in God, monotheism, he founded the Hebrews, the Israelites,
Yep.
The father of Isaac and Jacob and what have you. He also, Ishmael, everything with that, that was what turned out to be basically the father of the Arabs. The Jews and Arabs are cousins. They all came from the same area in Jerusalem and Jerusalem and Israel. So we can have the debate about borders and land or whatever, but it all started in the OG Canaan, Israel, Levant area. I think that's been proven a million times. And Jesus, whether you believe in Jesus that he was the Son of God or not, he was Jewish. He was a radical in a good way, a disruptor in a good way. He created the world's biggest religion ever. And he was one of my people.
It's awesome. I was just curious to know your perspective.
Yeah. No, I never in a million years would bash religion, bash faith. Some of it is bastardized. Some of it has been taken out of context. Some people will take socio-political strife and weaponize religion to say, you know, God willed this, or Allah willed this, or Jesus wants this, to weaponize socioeconomic changes they want in their country and their territories. But at the end of the day, I think all religions give people meaning, they give people purpose, and I'll never disrespect religion. I'll disrespect people who misinterpret religion. And I say this all the time. You know who some of my favorite people are? Jewish people. Some of my least favorite people are Jewish people. Okay? People are people. Nobody's painting.
Line, yeah.
You know who some of my favorite people are? Mexican people. Love the Mexican. You know my least favorite people? The Mexican people. Because a certain guy, you know, same for every religion. Haitian, Cuban, Puerto Rican, Armenian, Assyrian. People are people. So it's never like, oh, those people? Nah, I don't fuck with them. When I used to do stand-up comedy back in the day, I would say it's not racist if you make fun of everybody. Black, white, Chinese, yellow, everyone can get it, including my own people. Nobody's immune from controversy. Nobody is immune from talking that talk. That's why I respect Republicans who call out other Republicans. That's why I respect Democrats who call out other Democrats. That's why I respect Jews who call out other Jews. Yeah. Catholics who call out other Catholics. Muslims that call out other Muslims. You have to. Because if you're just, you know, wearing the team jersey and never can criticize what your team may have kind of done wrong, how are you ever going to have progress? Yeah. I firmly believe in that. So everyone should be held accountable for the good and the bad that they do.
There has to be that checks and balances for sure.
Yeah.
Great term.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We got to wrap this up.
We're wrapping up. What time we got?
Time flew, man. It's 5-4.
That was quick.
And we got to take some photos.
We got 10 minutes. Let's do it.
Yeah? All right. You want to throw in your question?
I wanted to ask you, so I know you might like him a lot, so it might be a tough question to ask, but, you know, how much do you like Joe Biden right now as your president? It's going to be a controversial question. I know a lot of people love him. I know think, people say he's the best president ever.
Greatest president of all time. We all know that. We all know that. He's the modern day Jimmy Carter.
What are your thoughts?
Nobody voted for Biden because they liked Biden, because they liked the vision for the country, because they liked his voice or they liked his personality. At that time, after 4 years of chaos, and what it turns out that a lot of it was media propagated, it was the deep state. You know, sometimes you got to learn to, you know, takes time to learn what actually kind of happened.
Oh, for sure.
Trump, not exactly like the most politically correct guy, to put it bluntly. A lot of people said, look, bro, I don't fuck with that dude. And it did cause a lot of divisions in the country. But from a policy standpoint, you got to give the guy credit, especially with wealth, with what he did with international relations, no wars. You know, so what is the joke with the political, with the right? They're like, you know, we got 2 wars going on right now. We got inflation, we've got interest rates, but damn those mean tweets, bro.
Exactly.
I know, right?
You know, so I think at this point in 2020, on the heels of COVID, you could have had a ham sandwich versus Donald Trump. And someone said, yeah, I don't really even eat ham, but give me that ham sandwich. I think this time around, 4 years later, now there's some things I don't agree with Trump, like the election was stolen. All right, we're gonna need see some proof from that. But you could definitely say there was tampering. The Twitter files exposed that. Thank you, Elon Musk. Everything that was going on with the laptop, Hunter Biden being suppressed, New York Post, we all saw what happened there. I think this time around, here's the difference. There's a lot of people who said in 2016 or 2020, dude, I would never vote for that guy. Never in a million years. There's a lot of people, and it only takes 50, 100,000, especially in battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Nevada, you name it. There's a lot of people, again, doesn't take many, 100,000, whatever. They're like, yeah, I'll do it this time. I don't think that he's a dictator. You know, he said on day 1, I'm going to be a dictator. I'm going to shut down the border. I'm going to drill, baby, drill. Okay, cool. Executive orders. But I think there's a lot of people this time that are saying, yeah, we've seen the Biden thing. Nobody's rallying for Biden, right? If Obama somehow could run a 3rd term, I think that a lot of people would be ingratiated to that. But I predict that there's going to be a lot of people who said, I would never vote for Trump, me included, that are going to sway towards Trump. So Am I going to keep my Joe Biden poster above my bed? Maybe. But I think there's that what we're seeing in the government today, the deep state, the Epstein stuff, what's actually happening, the CIA, the weaponization of the FBI, what's actually happening behind closed doors. I think Trump, to his credit, has peeled back the curtain, whether you like Trump or not. Don't worry about the man. Worry about the act of peeling back the curtain. Vivek, what a stud. Spent plenty of time with that guy. So I think there's a lot to be brought up against what's the corruption that's happening in America. And he's exposing that. And he's created a lot of enemies. And they've weaponized a lot of the media against Trump. But, you know, Trump's a fighter. We're close with some of the people on his team, no doubt. And I'm one of those people that says, look, bro, I've made money under Bush. I've made money under Obama. I've made money under Trump. I made even more money under Biden. And whoever the next president is, whether it's Trump part 2, Biden part 2, Kamala part 1, let's fucking hope not. I'm going to make my money and I'm going to take care of my family and I'm going to take care of my people. Here's my last point. I see so many people so worried about what's going on in the White House, but not what's going on in their house.
Yeah, I like that.
You're 50 pounds overweight. You're drowning in debt. You're fighting with your girl, but you want to just constantly tweet about what's going on in the economy. What about in your own personal economy? So until you're like in shape, have money, you know what's going on, stay off Twitter, stay off Instagram, focus on what you can control, not what you can't control. So am I going to be stumping for Biden, Harris 2024? Definitely not. But whoever is president, I'll be a proud American. I'll support our president because he's representing the United States of America. I'm not on team red. I'm not on team blue. I'm on team red, white, and blue. I want the best for America. I think we can all agree. We're seeing what's going on in this country. A lot of sensible, common sense people who are like, yeah, I wasn't really a Trump guy. I wasn't really an Obama guy, but some of this shit just doesn't make sense.
For real.
Okay? That they're like, yeah, let's just get this thing back on track. So I'm a big believer in America. I think America needs to lead from the front. I do believe, like as Reagan said, we're a shining city on a hill. And I think we need to get that back. And we need our friends in the North and Canada to join us.
Gotta work together,
for
man.
some common sense.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully we can make America wonderful again. We'll see if that happens.
We're working on it. And just to throw in a little plug about Kamala real quick, we interviewed a former mob guy a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And the question I asked him, I said, life sentence or you got to go out with Kamala? He's like, life sentence, throw the book at me.
Well, that's funny. People use satire, but a life sentence versus life with a girl, as obnoxious as the girl is, let's be real here. Nobody wants to go to jail. Okay. You know, we've interviewed Andrew Tate and all that. I know we won't delve too much into that. Jail's no fun. Okay. So, I know there's chance of lock her up, put her in jail. Okay. There's Trump's of, 91 counts. I don't want anyone going to jail unless they actually deserve to go to jail. So, free speech, say what you want to say without being fear of being canceled. I think that's super important. But I think podcasts like this are disrupting the marketplace. And I think a lot of young people out there are going to get a lot of value from whether it's Millennials Choice, whether it's Valuetainment. Find the 2, 3, 5, 10 voices that you listen to and have a mixed media diet. There's so many people I hear that, dude, all I watch is CNN. That's it. Really? All I watch is Fox News. That's it. Really? Yeah. You don't want to hear both perspectives? Sure. And one of the great things about the PBD podcast and the Valuetainment is we want a wide range of perspectives. We want you to say, you know what? That fucking Adam guy's an idiot, bro. PBD's the man. Or you know what? Adam made a good point today. I don't know, but we want different perspectives, especially the guests that we bring on, whether it's Alex Jones on the right or Chris Cuomo on the left, whoever it is, perspectives. There's nuance to this. So have a mixed media diet, mixed media education, and find your purpose, find your passion, make that money, and save that money, as we all know.
And awesome, tell them where they can follow you and the plug for your put the plug in for your podcast.
This is me right here talking to the people. I feel like I'm on Hot Ones right now.
All right, bro. Yeah, people right here. Yeah.
So you can follow us here at Valuetainment. We're in Valuetainment Studios right now. Subscribe to Valuetainment. I think we're at 5 million on YouTube. You can follow the mothership, as we like to say, the PBD podcast, where Patrick, Bet David, myself, Tom, Vinny, the home team, and awesome guests are doing the PBD podcast. Or if you want to follow me on social medias, you can follow me at Sos Talks Money on every single social media platform. Or my show here at Valuetainment is called the Soscast, the sexiest financial show in the world.
Love it.
Love it. Guys, we're trying to hit 100,000 subs by the end of this year.
Give my boys a like.
Yeah.
Come on.
Give them a sub. Get a deadly doer right here. Hook them up. Let's go.
And we're going to hit it. We're not trying. We're going to hit
We're
it.
That's
hitting
right.
it.
That's
Confidence.
right.
My man. Thank you.
Yeah, of
Thank
course,
you, Adam.
bro.
Very generous with your time.
Awesome,
we had a great
brother.
conversation.
Thank you, man.
See you guys.
We're
We're
out.
out, guys. Peace.